welcome to this interaction. In fact, I'm chairing this Varghese Kurian Center of Excellence at IRMA. This has been supported initially by GCMMF. You must be knowing that Amul Brand Marketing Federation. So
Yes.
this is the initial funding that came to center, and then NCDFA also has joined us in this venture. So this center is actually trying to take forward the knowledge repository around dairy sector, cooperative sector in general, and dairy sector in particular. We have signed a lot of MOUs around, and ICAP is one of the signing partners, and we are also very closely operating with them. And during this COVID-19, we have ventured into a series of webinars or web interactions, you can say web-based interactions, to see how the dairy sector has actually responded to COVID-19, because we know that dairy sector in India mostly led by the members which are marginal small dairy holders, cattle herd type holders. So we are trying to see how this has actually uh, been impacting us, especially the members, and also the union, if there is any federation as well. So we have interviewed GCMMF, and also we are trying to see small dairies. We went to Mulkanur Dairy Union. You must be knowing the first women dairy union in India, who only managed by the women members. So we thought you will be the best person because you are far from Northeast. So we'll try to see how this has actually been impacting that region, as well as how the members are reacting to this very sensitive situation, because life is at stake, and yet we are supposed to manage our own livelihoods. So this is where our intention germinated, and we thought we shall try to talk to you. In fact, our team interacted with you to get a survey done, and we were thankful that you responded to that. Thank you very much, sir. And in continuation to that, we would like to hear from you that how exactly under your leadership this dairy union is moving, and how the members are responding, and what are the challenges that we have faced. To facilitate this interaction, I have with me Mr. Sivans Misra. Please raise your hand.
Sir, good morning, sir.
So he is our manager communications, who must be interacting with you. Daswant, please lift your head a little bit. You are not seen properly. Yeah. We'll find Dr. Jaswant. He is a research fellow in our center. He is from economics area, and he is particularly into development economics. So he's leading our research team, in fact, you can say. And I don't need to introduce Mr. Sandeep, who has been also with you, interacting with you, coordinating with you. So this four-member team is going to be with you today, sir, and we'd like to interact with you, get more insights from you, and this will be recorded. And once we edit that, it will be shared with you with a transcript. Once you say okay, then this will go to public domain. The idea is that let the entire world know how dairy sector in India is actually responding to the member centricity and also the market conditions. So over to you, Mr. Sandeep, and he will try to compare this entire event. So thank you again, sir, for joining us in this webinar. This being a holiday, I know we are all there. Thank you very much for finding time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Over to Mr. Sandeep.
Dr. Siman, we have been talking for the last couple of days. Let's start with a little bit of overview of how the Nagaland Dairy Federation, since it was registered in 2002, and how has been the progress in terms of procurement of milk, number of societies. Can you give us an overview of the Nagaland Federation?
I would say 2000 till 2012, dairy has been doing very well. And in between, there has been some, the progress was not very good. I joined in 2016, and that time found that some like financial related issues were there, and because of that, the progress has not been met very well. Dairy, there are say is it 72 dairy cooperative societies DCS. Under the federation, there are these 72 DCS together is having 3 milk unions in 3 districts of the state, and 3 milk unions has federated into this federation. And the dairying activity is confined to only 3 districts of Nagaland. And in the rest of the districts, some expansion activity has been done, and effort is being under process now. Recently, during the lockdown period, I could manage to organize 8 dairy cooperative societies in parent districts. I think to make you familiarized, I will have to name the districts also. Dairy basically confined to Dimapur, and I'm talking about not dairy development. I'm talking about dairy. The okay, so Dimapur, Kohima, and to some extent at Mohocho. Now expansion initiated with the creation of organizing new dairy cooperative societies in parent district confined to that valley Jaluki area. And then additional expansion has been done by organizing 5 dairy cooperative societies under FAC district, but confined to Futsal area only, so that it can be clustered. So, and in Mogochon, has been a tremendous response. I went there to organize 7. They came up with 11. So, and then I think that would be all, or you want to know more on?
Tell us about the physical progress in terms of daily, how much is the milk procurement, how many members, roughly macro figures about the Nagaland.
During the lockdown or prior to lockdown?
Over the last couple of years since you joined.
Let me just give you a comparative statement. In the January 2020, average daily procurement was 6,000 liters. So we are a very small organization handling very small quantity of milk. So many a times we feel ashamed to come to the forefront, attending meetings and other things. Anyway, that was in January 2020. And during the lockdown period, we did a checking. Within that 128 days, the daily average had come down to nearly 5,000 liters a day.
Okay.
So there has been a decline in the procurement by 40%, and there has been a decline in the marketing by 25%, roughly.
Okay.
During the lockdown.
Include all the 3 cooperatives, Dimapur, Kohima, and
yeah, all 3 together. And then, in fact, during the month of say last part of April, during the lockdown, when it was very severe, the procurement had come down to 70%, and then marketing had come down to 50% or something like that. And slowly now, in fact, this 40% and 25% is an improvement from March and April.
Okay.
And with this, I am positive and hopeful that it will. We have a chance to stand up, back to. We can bring it back, and in fact do better.
what can be reasons behind that? Lockdown is one factor. What can is the supply chain was disturbed? Is the supply chain was disturbed, or what are the factors behind this decline?
Initially, the phases of the lockdown has been a different component for us here. We had different experiences, different times. Initially, milk was available, and then we had problem in marketing it. because of restriction of movement, restriction of outlets, and all those. And later on, as the positive cases started getting detected in the state, the villagers imposed the local people became a little, sensitive to the issue, and then in fact they started stopping, allowing outsider to come inside their village for procurement of milk.
Okay. 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 So these are the reasons basically. But how now that lockdown unlocking 4 has commenced, and now what are the things? How do you see in the next couple of months the dairy development or procurement of milk and
Mm,
marketing of milk?
Now the procurement has already increased. However, say I'll just give you a few instances. Like one or two villages are there. Now, last week, from their village, about more than 5, 6 cases were detected positive. So what is happening now? They don't allow their own villager also to go inside. Something like that. I would give you in that line of example only. So, which means our vehicle, our personnel going to their village who are outsiders on that line. Otherwise, from other aspect, movement aspect, we have no restrictions. In fact, the our district administration, the state machinery has been very, very forthcomingly, providing all the. We have no restrictions from the government machinery level.
Okay, can you explain us a bit about the pre-COVID time? Why it's a challenge to, because you remember that milk is not a very staple diet as Nagaland is concerned. Is it a challenge to improve milk consumption, and that is the reason why there's the
Yes.
procurement?
Okay. I would put it this way, like the say people have their own food habits and certain preferences.
Okay.
Definitely, is milk is not one of the the preference that comes in first line.
Yes.
Definitely, for the people, it becomes a non-veg items are more preferred. However, the milk culture is there, and then uh, like traditionally Naga, we have been rearing cattle, but we have not exploited much with the milk. That I would say.
Uh,
Or do you want me to be more specific?
yeah, can you be a little specific?
Like
The overview of the dairy sector basically in Nagaland.
mm, say dairying on a business mode.
Yeah.
Dairying as a business activity is a new trend for us. Animal dairy as an animal husbandry, it has been there, but people, don't are not very fond of milking cows and selling milks. But that is why this is confined mostly in Dimapur, places like Dimapur, Kohima, places like Mohuchung, like that, where there is a development of some urban population development is there. Dairying also is following that way. Otherwise, traditional villages, the milk culture is not there. However, uh, if you go into look into as far as Peg district, you'll find milk being sold on the road. And any district in Nagaland nowadays, you'll find that milk are being sold even on the roadside.
You have been associated with the dairy sector for long because you understand Nagaland dairy better. How has been the evolution? But how do you see in the next couple of years uh, dairy sector growing in the state and milk procurement growing so that it can impact the livelihood actually?
I think, to be very frank, it will be a very difficult task. If we look at the livestock census, compared to livestock census 2019, oh, I mean like 2012,
Well,
19 and 20th livestock census, there has been a decline in the cattle population by 66%.
okay.
We have 234,000 cattle population in 2012, and as per 2019 livestock census, it has come down to 78,000. And if we look into that statistic and work out on the milk cow population, and this population consisting of crossbred and indigenous. And as you know, the scenario in Nagaland would a little bit differ from the mainland India, because our indigenous, when we talk about indigenous cattle in India like Sahiwal, Gir, Tharpa, whichever it is, they have the milk potential. In our case, the only indigenous which is recognized as Toto doesn't have milk potential.
Okay.
And genetic improvement possibility also, it requires some research level activities. Under
Okay.
which circumstance, I would say that with a population of less than 15,000 milk cows in the state, to take forward dairy will be a big effort. It is not only the, yes, logistics with the support of the government of India, infrastructure, everything is there. Like not now things are happening, but the resources, in terms of resources as animals. So it will be a big challenge. And that is why recently, when I used to visit these villages, we interact with the farmers. Uh, Farmer also are, right now when we look at to the animal husbandry sector, I'm mixing up a little bit, but find it that dairying has a better prospect for the farmers. Our people love piggery, but then dairying has a more scope, better opportunity than piggery. This farmers have realized, and when the dairy KCC was, campaign was going on, most of the farmers, they were not much concerned about their working capital. They were more concerned about buying animals with those money. So I would put it that way. The interest of the farmers, the from the ground reality of the from statistical point of view, resource point of view, once the farmers are interested, fodders are there, workers are there, animals, they are ready to buy. This can happen, but it will need a lot of efforts.
Okay.
No, and it will, not only the organization, but the state government machinery will have to come in to support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. It's very interesting that when the rest of the country or major part of the country we have a milk plus season surplus, here we are talking of the increase the productivity, increase the number of animals. So basically, this is the scenario we're looking at Nagaland. But how to deal with that? Is you required promotional activities to uh, to train people that rearing cows is a livelihood issue? Because you said piggery, you stated that it's always a better livelihood. Dairy is a better livelihood option than piggery. That part, can you explain basically? Like, how do how do you explain it to people in large?
Uh,
The importance of dairy.
okay, importance of dairy. The the gestation period for a piggery, it is not less than 10 months, 10 to 12 months. Right? One has to put a small piglet and wait till it grows to 100 kg or so, which they get it after. They have to wait for 10 months to 12 months. And during that time, the working capital requirement is also high in terms of feed.
Hmm.
In case of dairy, it is not my advocation, but when I interacted with the farmers, they understand that they want only two cows. And for economic point of view, they want that one should be in milk, the other one can be a heifer or a dry cow. And the farmer would be happy. Because what will happen if he starts out the day he inducts these two animals today, from tomorrow he gets the milk from one cow. And with that milk, he can manage his feed cost and other small cost while waiting for the other cow to give milk. And that's how return may be very small, but then he can sustain himself, and that will be the starting point. So the once this can be clustered, these farmers can be clustered in the form of dairy cooperatives. Then once this quantified, this milk yield can be clustered and quantified. Logistics are already there for collection. They only ask, if we produce, you will buy or not. That is what they ask me.
Absolutely. It's very fascinating that Nagaland has an infrastructure. The issue is in milk production, and more farmers taking up dairy as a profession, as a livelihood. So, what are the steps has been taken by state government or by central government to push dairying?
Uh, Dimapur, there is a dairy plant with a capacity of 20,000 liters
Okay.
per day.
Okay.
Kohima has one with 2,000 liters per day. And Mogochong, the ministry has given a plant 1,000 liters per day. So all these three plants are not, operating to
Optimum.
say not even 50, 60%, 50% or something like that. It is under operation. So the asset is there for more milk to be consumed.
And the problem is regarding the production part of it.
The production is also there. I would say it is not because of not having milk. They are not, operating in a full scale. Milk is there. To look immediately to look at it, the market price. Say right now, fresh milk at the Goala, which she sells door to door delivery, it is costing 80 rupees. People are willing to pay that. Now, see, it was 60 rupees. Now, during the lockdown, it has gone up to 80 rupees. Now, on the other side, we advocate that milk should be pasteurized. Do not take the risk. And then even there people have understood, and then uh, door-to-door delivery, people were detected positive, and those things were there. But I would look at this in this way. Uh, I have interacted with the farmer himself also, who is doing door-to-door delivery. For the farmer also, he says one point. I think I will just give you some point instead of me concluding it, so that you can conclude. He will say, if his milk is purchased from if he has one place to sell, he doesn't like to go for door-to-door delivery, because he will use that time for fetching fodder or taking care of his cattle. That is the view of the farmer. And there are two views from the consumer level. Pasteurized on milk is not fresh. Some of them, they think that way. And now, since we are talking about, much about antibodies, the immunity through milk. So there are people who believe that the IgG, the immunoglobulin, which is expected from milk, it is destroyed while pasteurization, which is not very true also. But then that concept is also there now. Now, after the milk has been fortified to this vitamin A and D, after fortification, we saw a raise in the milk cell. Now, on the other hand, here practically the market demand is higher than we produce. So what happens in a traffic jam? A person goes to buy 1 liter of milk from a vendor, he doesn't get it. So in order to maintain a regularity, he doesn't mind taking it from the milkman rather than going to the shop. So unless the market is flooded with wash milk, this trend will remain. Till such time this trend is there, market competition will come. And for the milkman, he always looks for a higher price. Now, if he gets 80 rupees, why should he sell it to us below 40 rupees? So, and then we have to, we make this feed linkage, so many other things. We keep trying, but this will always be there until the time it is flooded, or till the time we make it so conveniently available, the milk to the consumers, and proper awareness is created. This competition will be there, I feel.
And what is the price, price of the milk produced by the cooperatives? He charge
MRP after
MRP.
MRP is 50 rupees.
Okay.
In Kohima it is 50. In Dimapur it is 51 or 52 rupees.
Still, the milk is sold as 80 rupees because of the
Yes, fresh
because of
milk.
that.
Yes.
It's a very
People think that
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, continue, sir.
yeah.
Uh, okay, sir. It's very interesting that milk has been sold. There is so difference between unorganized sector and the cooperative sector milk price. It's very
Yes.
unique to Nagaland. It's just the opposite for the rest of the country, where the cooperatives give more money. Cooperative sector retail price are more than what you get in the unorganized sector. So very interesting.
Now it has been always 60 rupees. Now it has gone to 80. That's all. Otherwise, uh,
So
they get
that
more
means
money.
there's a huge opportunity exists for the cooperatives to expand.
Yes, yes, exactly.
And
But
how,
it will be an uphill task.
like
It
why
will,
is it so?
it will not be easy.
Like what are the bottlenecks? Like you said processing plants are there,
Mhm.
processing capacity is there, connectivity is there. So what are the
Mhm.
challenge? What is the challenge?
Biggest problem is the procurement. People, many are not willing to sell, and in the ground reality,
Okay.
the cooperatives, dairy cooperative societies, the primary societies, they do not function on a business mode at the society level. That is another which has to be reorganized and make them operate on business mode. Then aggregation of milk can happen in the village level. This is also possible because definitely a society in a village comes under the purview of the village authority. They have local administration. Once the society tie up with the village administration and it is agreed upon, milk produced in that particular locality, because the land belongs to the village people. Land owners are the village as a whole. Individual land ownership is not there,
Okay.
excepting few. So it can happen by imposing. The village has to decide if they so agree that it is good for the village. What they can do is that they can decide that all the milk that is produced within their village jurisdiction should be poured to the cooperative societies. If that happens, the business mode can be started. And let them decide, let the society decide. They want to sell it to the plant, they want to sell it to the market, but let it go in an organized manner. We I'm part of the dairy federation. I run a plant. Doesn't mean that I should enforce the producers that they must sell it to me also. They should be given preferences to the farmers also.
Okay. And how do you foresee, say, 1 year, 2 years, the dairy development in Nagaland? What kind of exact support you need, you are seeking from central government or NDDB or state government? What are the measures you are taking to ensure that more milk procurement takes place?
Mm, there has been some problems earlier here why the procurement was affected. The procurement in Kohima was higher. Procurement in Dimapur was more than this. Uh, it had come up to 12,000 liters a day, which is now at 6,000. So here in Kohima particularly, the marketing was entrusted to a distributor. I don't like to speak such things, but now the person, we did not pay the money to the organization amounting to about, when I joined, it was 29 plus 20, 49 lakh rupees. For a small dairy, that was very important. So when that happened, milk procurement price, the organization could not give it in time to the farmer. That is why the procurement came down. Since you and then in order now this has been sold, it has been regularized. Now it is going smoothly. So procurement producers are there. There are enough producers, enough milk in and around Kohima to feed the Kohima plant. Dimapur also they have, and in fact, Dimul have started doing procurement even from Assam. They have that logistics, and of course, yeah, you need if you can be more specific to your question, that'll be very good. I could understand only that much now.
Specific in the sense we are just trying to say what are the challenges so that Nagaland can become a part of the that Anand model which Varghese, Mr. Dr. Varghese Kurian promoted. So that is our focus here. So we want to assess what are the challenges and what are the opportunities,
Okay.
especially federation like Nagaland faces.
Dairy can happen only through cooperatives in Nagaland also. This model is going to work. Organized dairying or this a different way of dairying is not going to happen here. And we have come so far. Now, one issue when we talk about, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Uh, when we look at the resources, I would say first, photos are there, greens are sufficiently available. But then, if the corporate at the dairy cooperative level, cooperative society level, if some further development is there, not that would be very good. And here, one thing, the animal breed of animal. Mostly, the breed of animal kept here are Holstein Friesian and Jersey Cross. And we don't have our and milch animal which is indigenous to us. So HF and Jersey, people thought in hilly areas they will be more environment friendly. People started keeping it, but when we look into it, we have, of course, we have no research prospects. We consult literatures and all, but then we just did field survey. We collected the milk from different areas, tested for its fat and SNF, and we always find that the SNF is below 8. So all these three plants are putting a lot of money on SMP. So this is another big disadvantage. So when we can get Indian breed of this like animals like Sahiwal, which is up to 9% SNF. If we can have those animals, then and we don't have to go very far up to West Bengal or Bihar. I think those animals will be available. I made some inquiries, and cost wise also, transportation costs including all those, it becomes almost same with the animals being sold here from financial aspect also. If we can have Sahiwal cows here, and the impact would be immediate. The SNF issue is a big issue here in the plants. And then this, we have had some, interaction with the artificial insemination. Liquid nitrogen plant is being looked after by Nagaland State Livestock Development Board. So they have, understanding this fact, they have started keeping semen of Sahiwal also, besides HF and Jersey. So semen, the facility, AI facility, storage facility is already there. Now we just have to induct some more animals. Just to start with, there will be other animals better, but Sahiwal would be my choice. I may be wrong, but then I would think that that will be a good choice. And we are not looking at big, large, in huge numbers. Say for if the 25% of the society members can have it in each of these societies, it will bring a lot of change. That is one. The market side, we are not meeting the market demand. We are not meeting even the 50% of the market demand on liquid milk. And we have demand for paneer, which we are not able to produce that much because we don't have sufficient milk. We have to have surplus milk after sending it as a post milk. With the surplus milk, we can go for paneer production, ghee production, or some other items. Now paneer, we are packing it in this vacuum packaging only. No additives are added, so people has a preference for that, and we have that demand also. So market-wise, for example, in Kohima, we are meeting say about 40% of the market demand. That means we have the scope. Now, from the resource point of view, that is one, the animal. And we are not talking about some very hi-fi technology here. Uh, Simply, it's a breed issue. And then, of course, I don't want to indulge in such things, but coming to policy matters to some extent, the I feel I have been my experience. I have been working not in the higher level. Above me there is a managing director. Above me there is a chairman, and I have been working as a liaisoning officer in between. Sometimes while passing on this side that side, it is time consuming and little taxing, but that is my way to look out. But I would feel, which I have seen in other states also, the organization, if we when we it is recognized as a federation, it should have certain freedom of its functioning. Certain policy decisions, I would not say that it is required. It needs to be looked into, and maybe little intervention may be required if we expect you know the existing model of dairy exactly being operated. I'm not talking about only Nagaland, but for the whole Northeast.
Okay.
That issue would be very important. Once that is there, sometimes a person in the capacity, we just have to look. I may be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But if we look at the uh, chairman or the MD, who is the controlling authority, not only for our state, for other state also, if you look, whether he has that much of experience on dairying or not. If he doesn't have, what decision can we expect? That is one. From the ministry side, I think ministry is being very, they are trying their best to promote whatever possible the ministry is giving support. That much is there. NDDB, I think one of the best organized. I have not had much interaction with any much organization, but I've had the opportunity to go and see the dairying or animal husbandry activities in Germany, Netherlands, even to Vietnam's. Then I saw, I've seen their organization, training institutes, and other management organizations. I find NDDB will be the best. And when we have NPDD under the ministry and we have NDDB, I think everything is there. We just have to maybe in places like ours, in pocket areas, for us, the entire dairying, the knowledge of dairying itself is yet to be very familiar by all concerned. The person in concern I'm talking about has to have some, familiarity with it, so that those who are working on it, they can put their input. The entire input can be made use to it. I would say in short that way.
Thank you, Dr. Simon, for actually elaborating on the various aspects of dairying in Nagaland. And it's very fascinating to understand that this is a state where demand is there. The procurement has to match up. Unlike in the rest of the country where this just the opposite happens. I now hand it over to Professor Misra for his concluding comments.
It's really very enriching to listen to you, sir. Because your passionate involvement in the dairy sector so far, and the way you actually provided us the picture around Nagaland. I'm able to revisit or relive my experiences in Nagaland, which was 10 years ago. We have been to your CTC, but that was in Mejifera. Mejifema. We are there. We met the principal there, and in fact, Nagaland government was very keen to actually modernize it, and based on the recommendations given by IRMA. But somehow it didn't fructify, and we had to abandon that that association. But there is still a core committee which is not yet abandoned. It is still there. The government notification was there by Governor of Nagaland. So, having said that, I would like to just before I conclude, how is the dairy sector training and capacity building effort that is coming up to actually ensure that all sorts of member awareness around the quality milk production or hygiene production. I know the dairy sector production is not akin to what is happening there, but still there should some type of awareness building. Is it there happening? That's my only question that I am going to ask before we conclude.
The building, the training center, it is there. It is there. But in this project also now presently, the ministry has given a project, and under that also, of course, I had requested NDDB Kolkata if they can provide training for our people there, and also on cooperative aspect, I have discussed with the register of cooperative societies to provide on cooperative activities also, both ways.
Okay.
Those fund is also available, and then institutes are also there. Tie-up also has been done.
Very nice, very nice. So it is really very. We are very fortunate that we interacted with you today, despite being a weekend, and we thank you very much for sparing your valuable time with us. But yes, Nagaland is a beautiful state. You can always, uncontested. It is a very interesting state as well, in terms of the culture, in terms of tradition, in terms of their habits. It is well known. Nagaland culture is very much there. Naga culture is there. I will only hope that dairying comes up as a mainstream business model, which is there in India. India is the largest producer of milk in the world. Perhaps if Northeast can see something, in Nagaland something comes better. It will be wishful thinking, but I must wish that that comes up. So I must to conclude this session, sir, I must again thank you on behalf of our BKCV team for providing us very enriching information, sharing details of what has been there in Nagaland dairy sector, and we hope that we shall come back to you again, sir, as we proceed in our center's activities. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.